From weekend getaways to extended road trips, California is full of places to explore. And for over 100 years, the Auto Club has been there to help. Our travel agents offer you expertise regarding destination information, trip planning and reservations, either in office, on the phone, or online. Across the state, throughout the country, or around the world, through all life's travels, we're always with you.
Road Trip has been made possible by the Automobile Club of Southern California.
Well, hello everybody, I'm Huell. Here it is, early morning. In fact, it's so early I hadn't even had my morning coffee. We're in Kern County near Bakersfield, right on the outskirts of the nice little community of Buttonwillow, which is known as the heart of cotton country. They grow a lot of cotton around here, and of course we know how important that crop is. But to be honest with you, we're not going to be spending much time in Buttonwillow today. We're heading right on through here to a part of Kern County that's known for its oil production. A lot of history there, and in fact, we've got a whole day of activities set up. History, nice people, nice places. In fact, we're starting off the morning with a breakfast in a very historic hotel. We're excited. We've come to Kern County on a road trip. You know, I love road trips that take you off the beaten path, and western Kern County is definitely that. Lots of open spaces, not much traffic, no big towns, and to tell you the truth, it's not really set up for organized tourism. But when you go there and spend some time there, you end up meeting some really nice people and experiencing firsthand what down-home grassroots California is all about. Okay, our road trip begins. We are in beautiful downtown McKittrick, California. And here to greet us, standing right out here on the sidewalk, introduce yourselves to everybody.
Pete Giannopoulos.
Nice to meet you.
And I'm Bruce Holmes from Maricopa Flats, California.
Nice to meet you, sir. Now, you all are kind of going to be with us most of the day, right?
That's right.
All right, we're looking forward to this day, and I'm especially looking forward to this first stop because you told me that this is a very historic place. Who wants to talk about the McKittrick Hotel? Who knows the most about
I'll
it?
yield to my distinguished colleague on the left here.
Well, it's been here a long time. It burned down, as did most of the buildings on this street here. Back in 1913, I've seen a picture of this hotel, just a shell. But anyway, it's still going strong and a great place to come and eat.
Have breakfast.
Right, we're going to have breakfast and see the Penny Bar.
The Penny Bar. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. But fellas, as we're walking over to the hotel here, why was I thinking McKittrick was going to be a little bigger
well,
than
it was at one time.
Yeah, well, hello and goodbyes on the same signpost in McKittrick, so.
Well, this was, I mean, because we're kind of in the heart of oil country, aren't we?
This started about 1890 in here. And actually the town was subdivided by the railroad. Southern Pacific, they were bringing the railroad to east of McKittrick because of the asphaltum that they were mining. And
so this was a big place.
Oh, it was.
How many people lived here at its?
Oh, probably 20,000. Probably 20,000 at its peak, and it's just kind of dwindled down. Like Maricopa was big in the 20s, and then it just a couple, 3 fires. The next thing you know, the transportation's better, and they just kind of graze off. So.
Because this is about it.
That's it.
Right here.
That's it. But
well,
there was other little. Everybody didn't live in town. They lived on leases, what they call leases, where the oil companies had a business, and they had houses for their employees because transportation, people didn't have cars back in those days.
Yeah, all right. Well, now we're here, the McKittrick Hotel, Oakwood Barbecue Cafe and Bar.
And excellent food.
All right, that's where we're starting off, inside the McKittrick Hotel, which is just about the only game in town, isn't it?
Right. Mike and Annie are the owners of the hotel.
All right, we're heading in. I'm following you in.
Thank you.
This is going to be fun. Okay, we're inside and we're hooking up with, well, good morning. How are you doing?
John Howard.
Nice to meet you.
Sheila Howard.
Nice to meet you. Are you all, what do you call McKittrians?
Work here.
You work here. Tell us about McKittrick, because we're trying to get a feel for the place.
Well, it's a big time city.
What do you do here?
You see it.
Do you work in the oil business?
Yeah.
So
Sure do.
there's still oil being pumped here and people working in the oil field.
Yeah, we're in a big boom again.
Good. That's a good thing. And what are you doing here this morning?
Hanging out with my husband.
Oh, good. All right. Well, nice to meet you. Good morning. Good morning. Y'all eating a nice big breakfast this morning?
We are.
Now, you starting off the day getting ready to go to work?
No, I'm retired.
You're retired.
Yeah.
I don't do nothing.
She doesn't do anything.
I'm here visiting my dad.
You're visiting your dad. That's good. Here's a guy who's,
That's right, big breakfast.
boy, look at that. Now, this is what you get for breakfast at the McKittrick Hotel, right?
Yes, sir.
What are you eating there?
Biscuits and gravy, eggs over medium, hash browns, and sausage.
Now,
and
you're not
coffee.
going to go to work after this, are
No,
you?
I'm semi-retired.
Well, a lot of people are semi-retired here,
It's a
aren't
nice little town to be that in.
they? Good. All right. Did you used to work here, live and work
Yeah,
here?
yes, sir.
So do people usually stay here when they're born here?
Probably so. I wasn't born here. I was born down south, but I've worked in power plants around here, construction boilermaker, and turned out really nice. I like the town.
So it's a nice place to work and it's a nice place to retire.
Everybody knows everybody here.
And this is the place, isn't it, right
This
here?
is it. This is Penny Bar, world famous.
Nice to meet you, sir.
You too.
Morning, fellas.
Good morning, you.
Y'all getting ready to
see you.
do something on bikes, I bet.
Yeah, we got them parked outside.
Are you all from around here?
I live in Bakersfield. He's from the coast.
What are you doing out here?
Well, we know Annie and Mike, and we just come by and visit. And we was out last night, so we thought we'd just stick around and have some breakfast too.
Well, great. Nice to meet you all.
It's a pleasure to meet
the
you.
big, I'm picking up your check here
Oh,
by
I
accident.
appreciate that, man.
Now, where we're heading, this is the world famous,
Penny Bar.
the Penny Bar.
Yes. And if you haven't been in there, or don't want, they need to stop by and see this.
We're
It's
heading
a
in there right now.
wonderful sight.
Nice to meet y'all. Okay, it says Mike and Annie's Penny Bar.
That it is.
This is the world famous Penny Bar.
That it is.
And I know why, too.
Now you see.
Because there are pennies everywhere. The walls are pennies. The floors are pennies.
Says Bud. Beer.
Oh my
There's little
God.
messages hidden everywhere.
Now, is this a growing thing? Are
Yes.
we adding pennies all the time?
He has one corner left over there to do.
And how did this start?
Huh?
Come on over here. Oh, you
Well-
started it.
Pointing at me.
She made me do it.
Yes.
What do you mean she
She
made?
made me do this.
Uh-huh.
With my penny collection.
She says, when we buy a bar someday, I want you to cover the bar with pennies. We're here about 2 weeks. She says, well, when are you going to get busy on these pennies? Oh, okay. So I did the bar top and poured the resin over the top. And a week later, she says, well, when are you going to do the rest? And I says, what do you mean the rest? She said, I did. I got the bar. She said, no, the bar, all the whole bar.
Whole bar.
Whole bar.
So this was something
This is
you
a
had been
countertop.
secretly waiting to do all of your life.
Yeah.
When did this start? How many years ago?
He started probably maybe March of '99.
So you've been doing this for over 6 years now.
Yeah.
And how many, I mean, that's the obvious question.
Over 1 million.
Over 1 million.
Over.
But who's counting?
You're right.
Right.
By the square foot.
Yeah.
It says, if you can see up there, he put the little message, the million penny bar.
is that?
You have to really look at the wall up there. You got to catch the light just right.
Oh, you put things, messages in the walls. You spell it out with
Yeah.
pennies.
See under the fish tank over there?
What have you got over there?
See the message under the fish tank?
Oh, look, the fish tank here, and the message here, it says, no fishing.
Then to see what happened to the old TV.
What have you got down here? Oh, it's covered. This is the old screen.
I was a TV.
This is absolutely out of control.
Really?
But you know what? It works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
become a tourist.
Every once in a while, we get pennies from heaven. One will, you know, come down. One will come down to see us.
Oh my gosh! And so, what's the deal when people come in? Everybody gets to put in a penny, or do you all do this yourself?
No, they can donate, but I put them on.
Because this is an artistic
Yes,
thing here.
definitely.
Look at this right here, the ladies' room. It's written right here, ladies. Trust me, it says men's room back here too. And the whole, all the walls, all the floors, everything is covered in pennies.
This is our penitentiary.
Oh my God.
Believe me, sometimes it feels like it.
Before we leave, we got to walk in here. I just got to show everybody this. Look at this room here on the way to the men's room. Here's the men's room right here. The ceiling, the walls, the floor, the door, the walls, they look like they're a million pennies just in this room itself. There are pennies everywhere. You know, when you slow down and look at everything in here, you've got a lot of neat kind of historical stuff here behind the bar.
Yeah, for example, the license plates, A1, they were my grandfather's. And what the A1 means is Assemblyman, 1st District.
1938?
He was Senator Michael J. Burns. He became a senator after the Assemblyman.
Wow, that's cool. That's a piece of history. And look over here. I don't know how historic this is.
Yeah, really.
Redneck wind chimes. So you have a lot of fun with all this.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
And is there a book that you wanted us to sign?
Yes, the guest book. Everyone signs the guest book, including the ghosts.
So, wait, what do you mean the ghost?
We have ghosts. It's haunted.
That's another whole
That's
story,
a whole
isn't
other
it?
story.
So what is the deal? Everybody just kind of signs in when they...
Yes, it's a pretty interesting book.
Oh my gosh, look at this. This book is just full of... So that's part of the tradition here as well.
Yes, it is. There's some really interesting remarks in there, too.
I bet you. This is exciting, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It never looked like this when I was a boy, I can tell you that.
What do you mean?
Well, when I was young, it was a full whiskey bar, and if you needed a mouthful of whiskey, you could come here. And I've seen some monumental blood, gut fights, whiskey stuff smashed all over here.
You're kidding.
It's a lot no, I'm not kidding. It's a lot calmer now than it used to be.
So it was wild and woolly?
It was
Were
wild.
these oil people or
Yeah,
cowboys or?
Mostly oil people. And the biggest fight there was a drilling crew come in and was going to spank the well pullers. And then when it got through, there was guys' heads stuck in the jukebox, and there was guys. But that was a long time. That was a long time
You
ago.
heard these stories?
From Bruce.
You weren't ever in here when there were any fights.
No.
Did you hear this story about the fights that used to go on?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, you don't allow that to go on now.
No.
This is the new McKittrick.
Right.
Kinder, gentler, penny bar McKittrick.
Right. The happy place.
You want to be embarrassed?
What?
We have to sing happy birthday to this boy.
Oh my gosh, come on. This is very touching.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Don. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. We can't show that. Before we leave the hotel, this caught my eye out here on the front, and then you walk around in here and there are a whole bunch of them in here.
Well, they're bull wheels. They used to be one on each side, and they were about 8 foot wide. You can see where they've been sawed off. But
what do you mean one on each side of what?
There would be one here, then there would be one here, and they were in the old wooden derricks, and they wound their drilling line up on the bull wheel.
So these are from the old wooden derricks.
Yes, sir, and those are California style. The Pennsylvania style was a lot smaller, but there was a lot tougher drilling conditions out here, so they had to have bigger bull wheels.
How old are these things?
Well, probably 1917, 20, up through the 30s. They didn't build any derricks pretty much during the Depression, and then through World War II, the rig building was pretty much over by World War II.
So this is a history. This is history right out here. And here are our motorcycle guys. Look at them sitting out here by the fire. I don't think you all are going to go anywhere today.
No, we're not. We're here.
Wow, this is great.
Yes, it is. Should have been here last night.
Big party here.
Not a big party, but a good party.
Well, look at this. We're all just kind of sitting here and hanging out. I don't think... Well, I do want to go, but in a way I don't.
Well, cool your jets and let's stay here, partner. We're in no hurry. Bring out another round.
We're never going to get out of here because you wanted me to meet this fella. Your name is?
Blackie.
And what's your claim to fame here?
I just bouncer around here.
You were the bouncer here.
I took care of all this McKittrick here.
Uh-huh.
Kept them lined out.
So wait a minute, you were the bouncer for this hotel or for the whole town?
For the whole town.
Yeah.
They call me mayor.
Yes. You were the mayor of McKittrick.
Mayor.
The mayor slash bouncer of McKittrick.
Yeah, that's Blackie.
Now I moved to the next little town, Derby Acres over there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But you just kind of revisit the place for old times' sake.
All time, all time.
Yep.
Sit around the fire. Stay warm.
Love it, love it.
This is like something out of...
My daughter just drove up. She's a little bashful, too.
Ah, how are you doing? Wow, we are having so much fun. This is great. We might do a whole show just on the McKittrick Hotel. Nice to meet you, sir.
I'm glad to meet you.
The mayor slash former mayor slash bouncer of McKittrick.
That's right.
Okay, we're leaving the McKittrick Hotel. Goodbye. And we're heading out. I'm not sure exactly where we're going, but I have a feeling from our first stop that wherever we go today, we're going to meet some very interesting and colorful people and hear some great stories about this part of Kern County. There's a sign. Fellows is 14 miles. Taft is 17 miles. We are heading right now deep into Kern County oil country. It's only going to get better. This is very interesting. Bruce and Pete have brought us to a place that I would have just driven right on by, but this really says a lot about where we are and what goes on here, aren't we, Bruce?
Oh, that's correct. I guess this stuff's been flowing since time immemorial. They saw little seeps like that, and then they thought there's oil. That's why they started drilling, but they called those surface indicators. And the Spanish saw them like La Brea or Linda and stuff. Well, those are oleaginous-sounding names and all meant oil. 1932, UCLA or USC, one of them come up, had the diggings at McKittrick Brea tar pit, and they dug out. It wasn't as famous as Hancock's, but at the Hancock Park in Los Angeles, but they done a lot of excavation up here. But
so there was oil. They just found oil seeping right up out of the ground. That's the first way they knew that this was a huge oil field?
That's correct. Well, the Indians used to use it. They'd seal things and they'd barter it, and they used it for medicines mostly. It wasn't until more modern times that they realized the full potential of crude oil.
So the oil drilling really didn't start up in here until the 1930s in a big way.
Well, the Depression, they didn't. It was pretty much a feast or famine. They discovered up in the Reward Loop over there, I think about 1890s, they had it, and then they drilled some. Pretty soon the oil would be up to 10 cents a gallon, and fresh water would be 50 cents a gallon, or barrels rather, and the 30s was Depression. There wasn't much going on in the 30s.
So this didn't take off till the 40s.
Well, there was development, but pretty much the 40s, World War II, they started doing a lot more.
And we're talking about standing out here and looking out here. This is still today, one of the largest oil fields anywhere in the country, isn't it?
That's correct. The Midway Sunset Field. We're in the midway portion of the Midway Sunset.
And how big is it? How important is this field of oil?
Well, we're making 100,000 barrels a day still, and it starts from about right here and goes clear out to where it pinches out on the other side of Maricopa. So,
what did it peak out at? They're doing 100,000 gallons today.
100,000 barrels. I would imagine 200, 250, 300,000 in the boom times. And
back in the 50s, 60s?
Yes, pretty much.
So there is still underneath where we're standing right now huge deposits of oil.
That's correct. They feel like they've only pumped about 50% of the heavy crude out of here. It's very viscous, and it doesn't like to flow. Now the lighter oil deposits that flowed real easy, they're pretty much depleted, but this heavy stuff, they just think they're at the halfway on their depletion of it.
So it's going to be pumped up here for a while longer.
For a long time. When I was a boy, I was afraid I was going to get too old and dumb by the time, well, I'm old and dumb anyway, by the time I was 40. Since then, it's wore me out and 2 or 3 more like me, and it'll probably get a couple hundred more like me before it's through. But I thought it was finished 40 years ago, quite frankly.
Well, I got to tell you, you think it's finished, and then you come and just see something like this on the side of the road where it is still just pouring, just seeping up. Look at this, right on the side of the road. Look at this.
It's oozing out of the ground.
Wow.
Back when they were surveying the country, the surveyors would come through here and they spotted this. And when their survey was done, they came back, and some of them formed groups and they bought land. Now, I don't know up there, see where that little ledge is up there?
Look at this.
Once in a while, you'll see a little bubble of gas coming out of
Look
there.
at this, look at this.
Yep.
Bruce, this is this really thick oil you were talking about.
Yeah, very viscous. It's
just coming out of the ground.
In the summertime, when it's hot, it's a lot more active. It flows better, and there's a lot of gas pops. And when it gets cold, the gas can't quite break out. But
can you do something with this oil?
Well, they do stuff with it, believe it or not. But try not to get it on this new Derby of mine while you're swinging that stick around.
Yeah,
there.
I guess if it gets on you, it stays on you, doesn't it?
Pretty much. You just have to wear it out in the bed sheets like we used to do.
Look at this. I am really excited about this. This is about as, boy, got to be careful throwing it around.
This is why they discovered steam flooding, to poke the steam back out of the ground and loosen this to bring the oil up.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen it. This is almost like tar.
Really?
Look at this.
The McKittrick tar pits.
BLM will tell you there's only about 6 places in the world that you have a brea like this. One is on the other side of Maricopa, plus this one, and then the La Brea.
In La Brea tar pits in L.A. What does La Brea mean?
Brea is a term they use for what we're looking at here.
For oil.
Spanish is oil, yes.
Wow, this is amazing, and this is just right on the side of the road.
Yeah, but like Los Angeles, like La Brea down there, and Brea and Olinda and those things, those were all different names for oil that the Spanish assigned them.
Well, it doesn't get any better than this. You all have earned your pay right now.
Can we have a little raise, Huell?
Because this is as exciting as anything I've ever seen, just right on the side of the road.
Well, then you ain't seen nothing yet. If this is as good as it gets for you, you've lived a very sheltered life. I can see that.
Okay, we are continuing our road trip, and we are following Pete and Bruce down the road through some spectacular wide open countryside. This is absolutely, look at this off here to the right. This is just spectacular, and we are now, here we go, we are turning onto a dirt road because they are bringing us to a place that very few people have ever seen or even know about. This is going to be interesting. Okay, we have arrived, and here to greet us, your name, sir, is?
Dan Cooper.
Okay, and you're here to greet us because we're on your land.
That's right.
But you've given us permission to be here today.
That's true.
You don't usually welcome people just coming right off the road, going across the countryside.
I do not.
Well, you know why we're here.
Yes, I do.
What do you think we're here for?
To look at the grave.
To look at the grave.
Isolated grave out here, yeah.
All right, let's all walk over here and take a look, because Pete, this is where you wanted to bring us, and this is
the grave where 3 people are buried. We're just off Highway 58, which goes out to Santa Margarita, 5 miles out of McKittrick. And this is quite a tale that's been passed down for many, many years about what happened here and who's buried here.
Well, what happened here and who's buried here?
Well, originally there were two cowboys. They were enemies. Each worked for a different cowboy outfit. One was from Cuyama area and the other was from the Carissa Plain. And bitter enemies, they got involved in some kind of a problem, and they vowed that if they saw each other, they'd kill each other.
And so did they see each other?
Well, they did. Unfortunately, the two cowboy outfits were camped out here at the springs that we went by where all the cattle is. Those are springs. And they had a campfire going one night, and they each saw each other. Well, they drew their guns and fired, and they both killed each other.
They both were killed.
That's right.
They were both good shots and simultaneously died.
Very good shots.
So are they both buried here?
Their fellow comrades brought them up here and buried them together in this spot. Well, what happened later on, one of the friends, a friend of one of the cowboys, Sam McCullough, came out west. He was from Scotland, and we don't know whether he knew this one fellow was buried here from Scotland or whether he met him in the east. But anyway, he came to McKittrick and inquired where this friend was, and they told him he was buried. So they brought him up here and showed him where they had buried him and what happened. And he liked the area, and he let it be known that when he died, he wanted to be buried up here with his friend.
So is he buried here too?
Sam McCullough.
Oh, Sam McCullough. Well, where are the two cowboy graves?
They're right here.
Oh, they're not marked.
No.
So there are two unmarked graves here and one marked grave.
What happened was the relatives of Sam McCullough bought this tombstone, and they had it shipped out to the McKittrick depot, and it sat there for some time until one fellow got tired of looking at it, so he got his horse and buggy and loaded it up and brought it up here and put it on the grave.
And it's been here since 1903, and the cowboys were shot even before that.
Now, Stan tells me that Sam lived on the adjoining hill, as I recall.
Did Pete tell the story right?
Yes. Pete's a pretty good historian.
Because you probably have to tell the story to people from time to time, don't you? Or does anybody even know this is up here?
Well, we try to keep it so they don't know it's up here because people, they're vandals, come up, as you can see by the shape of the...
Boy, it's a beautiful old grave sitting up here.
Yeah.
This is part of the lore up here, isn't it, Bruce?
Yes, it is. But I never wasted a lot of time in cemeteries. Generally, when we got through work up here, we were shooting down to the McKittrick bar. I used to see it on the horizon, but I never been. This is the first time I've ever been up here is today.
Really?
Really, yes.
As long as you've lived out here?
Well, it was generally in cultivation and grain, and if you ever got a spark and set the grain fields on fire, you may as well just, write your own ticket out of town.
So there wasn't a lot of driving around up in here?
No, and there was always guys like Stan. There's a lot of these shallow unmarked graves up here where they pot people up here snooping around where they got no business, so.
Well, I'm glad we were escorted properly to get here and were invited to be here.
Bruce kind of exaggerates a little sometimes.
Geez,
do you think there are other graves out in here that maybe we don't know about? Because back in those early days,
I'm sure there is.
People were just kind of buried with like wooden markers and things.
Well, Stan has offered me to go up over this mountain where there's a family grave up there with a family buried there, right?
Family, all the children.
And one of these days I'm going to take him up on that. Now, I have gone back to the Bakersfield, California, and read about the death of Sam McCullough. And
he died a natural death.
No, he didn't. He was a drinking man.
Yeah.
he was drinking too much, and it came up and choked him.
You're kidding.
He died in bed.
Oh.
So they brought him over here and buried him.
And buried him with the two cowboys who had shot each other in a shootout.
That's right.
Thank you for bringing us here.
You're welcome.
And thank you for allowing us to be on your property and
You
see
are
this.
welcome. You are
Three
welcome.
people buried right here. Samuel McCulloch, native of Scotland, died in 1903 in his bed. And he's buried here with two cowboys who shot each other dead at the same time.
And they buried them together.
Buried them all together. Okay, now we're back on the road again. We have cut off of the main highway, Highway 33, because Pete and Bruce want to run us by the little community of Fellows. It's another one of these little oil communities that has a lot of history to it, so we're not going to have a lot of time to spend here, but I specifically asked them if they could bring us by Fellows, because I've always seen it on the road map and wondered what it was like. Okay, we have arrived in downtown Fellows. This is it, Pete.
This is the downtown section.
Well, wait a minute. I thought this was, didn't this used to be another one of these big oil towns?
It is, but the problem is that it's owned by, it was Santa Fe Railroad, who subdivided the area, but it wouldn't sell the lots to the people. They rented it. So in recent years, as people moved out of their homes, they wouldn't let anybody occupy it. They tore it down.
Ah, so the whole town has just kind of disappeared.
Right, and now it's owned by Chevron.
Chevron, Texaco, and if you lose your toehold here, they just bulldoze your home down. They don't really want anybody here. They just extended the lease just a little bit ago for another 3 or 4 years, but they'd pretty much like to have you left. And right directly behind me where that little cafe is, my mother's uncle used to have a store there in Fellows back in the 20s. It was Blank and Lawton, and the post office was right here.
Post office
right
was...
there by the stop sign.
Well, didn't there used to be a hotel here?
Right
Paul
back
Randall's,
there.
and that was right over here is where the Fellows Hotel was.
Right there?
Yes, sir.
Where is the hotel?
It's Pioneer Village at the Kern County Museum in Bakersfield.
So they moved the whole hotel?
Yes, they did, but it sure don't look like it did when I was a boy, I'll tell you. It's pretty fancy inside now.
Wait a minute. The hotel, they just picked the whole hotel up and moved it.
I interviewed the last owners. They had the bar, and they always claimed that it was haunted. And they'd hear noises upstairs, and one day they brought a deputy sheriff. They called the deputy sheriff, and he went upstairs. He came back down. He says, "I'll never go up there again."
Oh, now we're going to get a picture of the hotel the way it looks now at the Kern County Museum in Bakersfield.
Right.
It's part of that village they've got out there.
That's right.
Isn't that interesting? They moved the whole darn thing.
But at one time they had stores all along here, dry goods stores, grocery stores, drug stores, and just a regular downtown area where people could come to a shop. And
this was a thriving town.
Yes, it was.
And now this is about it right here. The post office.
That's about it.
And what is that called?
The Derrick Cafe.
The Derrick Cafe.
Yes, sir.
And that's it. We have completed our tour of beautiful downtown Fellows. I think we can go on to Taft now. Now we've done it. When Pete and Bruce take you to lunch, you've outdone yourself, Pete. Where have you brought us?
How about this, man? We know how to put on a lunch.
All right, where are we and what is this all about?
We are in the OT Saloon and Cookhouse.
Uh-huh.
And this is the Civic Luncheon, which is a part of the Taft Oildorado.
The Oildorado Days.
Right.
Now let's get our Taft history. You make sure that we're getting it right here. Okay. Taft was named after President William Howard Taft, right?
That's correct.
And there was no town here at all.
Not at all.
Until the oil business came in the 20s.
No, in the 1909.
1909?
They built the railroad to Fellows, where we were a few minutes ago.
Uh-huh.
And they had a siding here, and they unloaded stuff, and the town just sprang up.
Okay, named after President William Howard Taft. It's always been an oil town. And the whole idea of this luncheon is just to have people kind of get together and swap stories and tell stories about growing up here and all of that.
That's correct.
It all started in 1930. That was the first one. And we've been going ever since, every 5 years.
All right, every 5 years.
Excuse me. Every uh-oh.
Do you have your Smooth Puss badge with you?
My what?
Your Smooth Puss badge.
My Smooth Puss badge.
Yes, if you don't have a beard. If you don't have a beard doing Oildorado, oh no, that he'll get fined for that.
What do you mean?
If you don't have a beard during Oildorado, you have to have a Smooth Puss badge, or I'll arrest you and put you in the hoosegow.
How much is a Smooth Puss?
They're $10 a piece.
$10?
That's right, $10.
For the good of the cause.
What do you use this money for?
Hey, Sheriff, can't you give him immunity once?
Give him immunity?
Immunity.
You got change for a 20? Gosh. Everything in Taft has an oil connection, including the Taft Crude Coffee House. And standing out in front of his new establishment, your name is?
Michael Long.
You came up and introduced yourself to us at the Civic Luncheon and said you wanted us to see your new coffee house, because this is a first here in Taft, isn't it?
That's correct. It's a coffee house in Taft. We came over from San Ynez. Like Taft, it's a great city to live in. We noticed there wasn't a real coffee house here, and it's right by the college, so we opened it up in April 1st.
Well, so wait a minute. You and your family moved here from San Ynez to Taft.
That's correct.
To open up a coffee house.
That's right. Sounds funny, but I'll tell you, the cost of living over here, the quality of life, is just as good in many ways and better in other ways.
Now, how'd you come up with the name Taft Crude? That's a great name.
Well, you know, Taft has a great oil history. And we wanted to do something that identified with the locals. So we thought about it, and we agreed Taft Crude, because crude oil and coffee are two great things that America can make a lot of money on, and we figured we'd make our money here in Taft selling coffee.
The guy's getting rich selling coffee. Let's go inside. Sure. I want to try some of this Taft Crude.
I'd like you to meet my wife, Marty.
Hi, how are you doing? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
There's a story behind this marriage?
Yes. My wife Marty's from Thailand. We met about 2.5 years ago, and in Thailand, and invited her to come back after I asked her to marry me, and she said yes. So we moved back to California, and we decided to come to Taft and open our coffee house.
Story!
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Yeah, she's beautiful, isn't she?
Wow, so nice. Well, welcome to California. She first went to San Ynez, then here.
That's correct.
And the two of you run this place on your own.
We have about 8-10 employees, and I'm really not involved in the management. I'm just the owner. My wife and other folks come in here and run it.
She's the hands-on person every day.
She's
so you're making the coffee. Very nice. And has this become kind of a Taft hangout now for kind of the artsy crowd?
It has. It has. The mayor comes here every day, almost, when he's here in town. Many business folks come here. A lot of the people who work in the oil fields come here, and it's teachers, large employer in Taft.
You're onto something.
I am. That's what we thought we'd pick our idea.
You're onto something.
Yeah, it's great.
Wow, well, so nice to meet you. Your name again?
Marty.
Nice to meet you. Well, before we hit the road again, we found this little living room area you've got fixed up over here, and we're all sitting around, and this is one of your specialties.
Yes, that's a Dewar's milkshake.
A Dewar's milkshake made from Dewar's candies. These are the famous Dewar's chews.
That's correct. Dewar's chews made right here.
I have found these in Bakersfield. These are amazing. Now you've moved them here to Taft, and you're making coffee with them.
Espresso milkshakes. That's correct.
Wow. Plus, it's just, you don't mind if I put my arm around your wife, do you?
Not at all.
We're just kind of sitting here, hanging out, enjoying our afternoon in the coffee house. before we continue our tour. It doesn't get any nicer than this.
That doesn't get any nicer than this.
I think you've figured it all out, haven't you?
Life's good.
Life is good. Well, we finally had to get up off the couch. We finished our Dewar's Espresso milkshakes, and Mike has brought us now about a half a mile from his coffee house. And Mike, I've never seen anything like this. Where have you brought us?
Well, I don't know what you call it, but it's an interesting part of California history and Taft history, and I wanted to introduce you to Jerry Gibby.
And I want to thank you for bringing us here.
You're
and
welcome.
Thank you for introducing us
welcome.
to your place. But look at this. What is this?
Well, this has been a long process. This is something that I love to do, and I've been recreating historical structures, Taft historical structures here in my backyard.
This is your backyard. It looks like, I feel like I'm in Knott's Berry Farm when I'm here.
Well, you're not the only one that's felt that way.
Well, let's walk.
I
Well,
feel that way too.
Here are your dogs down here, so they're part of the whole thing, right?
They're part of it.
All right, tell us what you've got here. Did you build this yourself? Did you move these from somewhere else?
All of the wood has been salvaged off of demolitions locally, and I've recreated structures from photographs that I have.
So you've built all of this?
Every bit of it.
And what is this? Is this open to the public? Is this just your private little playground back here? Look at this. This is beautiful.
This is kind of, it's open to friends and relatives, and yeah, it's sort of a private playground.
Well, you know that we're going to put your home number on the screen, and anybody who comes into Taft is going to call you and want to see this place.
They're more than welcome.
Do you open it up for school kids and all that? Probably don't have the insurance yet.
Insurance, that's usually the problem there, but I'd love to do that.
Well, what are we looking at here? This is called...
This is the Moron Drug Company.
Established 2004.
That's the time that I completed the construction of the building itself.
I love this. And the Hotel Luxor, established in 2001. So this was one of the first you did over here.
The nice thing about the Hotel Luxor, that was the last of the operating brothels in this community.
In Taft?
In Taft.
Oh my gosh, we keep hearing about brothels.
Well,
I guess that's part of the rich history.
A lot of rich history.
And what is this little thing? Well, this is the blacksmith shop over here.
This is actually could be an operating blacksmith shop.
You got stuff inside?
I'll unlock it.
Wow, this is just amazing. Boy, this is the real thing. You've got a whole, this is like a real blacksmith shop.
Absolutely, this is real.
Now, where did you get all this stuff?
All of this has been acquired locally, yard sales, estate sales, and private purchases when people find out I need something and they got it for sale.
Now, did this all start and just grow into something? Did you know what you were getting into when you started this, or did it just kind of take on a life of its own?
I didn't know it was going to be like this, but it took on a life of its own, and it's become an obsession.
Boy, look at this right over here. This is beautiful with the wagon wheels and the side of the... What is this old house?
This is my Midway Sunset Jail. The Midway Sunset is the name of the oil field that we are located in. And it's still under construction. I haven't been able to do the inside yet, but it's going to get done this winter.
You're working on your own schedule. This is your place. You can do whatever you darn well please.
Well, I got a boss over here.
Yeah, there's your boss. Give us a wave. There's your boss over there. And what is this right here? This isn't an outhouse, is it?
This house is an authentic outhouse that I brought in from out by McKittrick. In a ghost community called Reward.
I'm afraid to open this thing up. Oh, there, look at that. I thought it was a two-seater. It's just a one-seater. One-seater and a stand-up. Oh, my gosh. This is amazing.
The outhouse is about 120 years old.
Oh, so that is original.
Oh, yes, yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
Gosh.
Came out of Reward.
We are now going into, we've been invited into Jerry's inner sanctum. And boy, what an inner sanctum it is. I feel like I'm in the Smithsonian Institute right here, Jerry. You've got a little bit, look at this room. What is all of this?
Actually, all of this is artifacts of historical significance for the western Kern County.
In the oil, the whole oil.
Yes, sir.
And look at these great old signs. You've got postcards and pictures on all the walls. You've got, I don't know what all you've got over here in this case, because this has got a little bit of everything in it here.
That's all local stuff, every bit of it. Nothing in these two rooms or three rooms has been purchased outside of the area.
Even something like this oil can, RPM motor oil, is that significant to the history of this county?
Absolutely. Standard Oil was the largest producer here on the west side.
Wow, so this is just amazing what you've got. I'm looking around to see if you have any room to add anything else back here. I think you've about reached your max.
I'm stacking it, and it's sitting in the floor, and someday when I clean out this other room, I'll probably expand into it also. This was an expansion from that. It started in that room, that
so
small room, and
it
just keeps growing.
Wow, I'm looking at these pictures. These are just, this whole thing, this is a treasure trove back here.
When you use the word Smithsonian, actually, when I first started collecting, I was a collector of everything, but now I have to, when I make a purchase, sometimes on eBay, it has to be of Smithsonian quality, historical significance, or I'm not really interested in it.
This isn't a junky place. This is serious stuff
This is serious stuff. This is very serious stuff.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
This is an amazing place right here in Mr. Gibby's backyard in downtown Taft, California. Well, as our adventure continues, we have come to a fort here in Taft, and it isn't just any old fort either. Where are we?
We're at the Fort Preservation Society. It's a historic replica of Sutter's Fort in Sacramento, California.
Now, what is a replica of Sutter's Fort in Sacramento, California doing in downtown Taft, California?
It was to set up all of the government offices in the whole West Side District in Taft for the county of Kern. We had our county supervisor's offices, our hospitals, our courthouses.
When was this built?
Centers.
Who built it?
Okay, the WPA project in the 30s built it, dedicated in 1940. We had a birthing center here, everything going on. This was where anything, Social Security, whatever you needed to take care of was done.
All right here, and who came up with the idea of doing a replica of Sutter's Fort?
Probably, Huell, probably because it's made out of homemade adobe. It was done right on the site, and
really?
so is Sutter's. So.
Can we walk in and see this? Because this is an amazing thing to see in here. This was the old auditorium. What happened in here?
This is not the original auditorium. This was, it fell during the 1952 earthquake, so this is the second auditorium we've had.
And this, I feel like I'm inside the fort.
Oh, it's gorgeous in here. It's a very serene setting of old California history.
Now, what goes on in here during the day?
Okay, during the day, we use the south side for offices. They help us maintain and repair by their office rents. We have parties here, we have socials, we have meetings.
Just kind of hang out.
We just hang out.
It's kind of a gathering place for
the
Taft.
Community. It's a gathering place for the community, for them to use for whatever they want.
All right.
Weddings, many, many, many weddings.
Yeah, we got the porta potties set up over here because look what's going on over here. You were a little embarrassed that we were coming today. You said the place looked like a mess, but you're getting ready for something connected directly with Oildorado Day.
We have a big party going on here tomorrow. It's a jazz concert. We're expecting 700 people.
Oh my gosh, and this is your world famous gazebo that you wanted to show us.
This is the gazebo. This is where the brides like to get married.
So you have a lot of weddings at Sutter's Fort.
The weddings help support the fort and help with the maintenance here.
Now, do you call it Sutter's Fort?
No, we call it the Fort Preservation Society, better known as the Historic Fort.
The Historic Fort.
Yes.
And I dare say this is the only replica of Sutter's Fort anywhere in California, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is. It is, Phil.
Is it built to scale?
It's slightly larger, about 20 feet in each direction.
We have our own jail down there.
Oh,
That's from McKittrick, from behind where you had breakfast the other day.
yeah. That jail down there.
Yeah, 1900, somewhere right in there.
That's the real jail?
That is a real
you
jail.
You moved it
McKittrick.
here.
Yes, one of our friends brought it in.
What is it with Kern County? You're always moving stuff. You moved the Fellows Hotel to the Kern County Museum. You moved the McKittrick Jail to the old fort in Taft. Y'all like to move things, don't you?
Well, before somebody tears them down, you know, it's just to preserve them. And that's what we're doing.
Thank you for showing us around. Thank you for showing us around.
Neat place.
Have a great party tomorrow night. A jazz festival out here in the courtyard of the old fort. Old Sutter's Fort.
That's right. The Historic Fort.
Well, we're ending up here at the West Kern Oil Museum in Taft. We have a huge assembled crowd here out on the lawn. It's a big day here at the museum, and by the way, this is an absolutely wonderful museum to visit. I was here, well, it was over 10 years ago. I know I met you then. Introduce yourself to everybody.
Ron Bracken.
Nice to meet you again, sir.
Good seeing you, Huell.
Keith Brack.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
Now
to meet
let's.
you.
This is a wonderful place to visit under any circumstances, but you all have been working on a very special project here for the last, I don't know how many years it's been, but it's been a big project. We're talking about this huge wooden oil derrick. Tell us about this derrick and what it represents.
It represents one of probably, I would say, in the neighborhood of 15,000 of them, or just like this, all around this whole area.
15,000.
And when I was a kid, and the average one went up in about 3 days to maybe 7 days.
So they just slapped these things together.
Yeah. They didn't use hammers, they used axes.
And just built them that tall.
Yeah.
How tall is that?
That's a 106-footer, but most of them were 80 foot. And there was a whole bunch of them that were 106 feet.
Now, you didn't slap this together in a couple of days.
No, we didn't.
You're the guy who kind of supervised the reconstruction of this derrick, because I was here years ago, and we actually shot a program here where we walked around, and I think we're going to be showing some footage of it right now. We walked around the old derrick, which was original and had seen its better days, hadn't it?
You got that right.
It was creaking.
It was getting ready to come down on our heads, if you remember right.
Absolutely. So you decided to take the old one down and put the new one up, and you were in charge of the construction. How hard is it today to build something like this?
It was a challenge with today's standards and what's required. You know, it was a special OSHA permit to build something like this because of the height itself. And
where'd you get the wood?
The wood was ordered from a broker that we use, you know, in the Pacific Northwest. And
what kind of wood?
It's rough sawn Doug fir.
Is that what they would have used back then?
That's exactly what they used.
So it's historically correct.
Ron made sure that this thing was authentic to the last detail. The only thing that we did differently was we bolted it to give it a little more longevity and a little more strength. But
now, what are we looking at? Would there have been a ladder like that going up it in the old days?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, everything that you see right there is authentic, other than the bolts.
Wow! And how did you feel building something like this?
It was quite an event. It's definitely a unique opportunity to build something like this. I can probably say that I'm the only person, plus my crew, that's built something like this that's probably alive today, because all the old rig builders, I think, are a thing of the past. So.
And isn't it interesting, though, how yesterday's junk is today's treasure?
Sure.
That's right.
Because this is literally one of a kind now.
Absolutely.
It makes a statement. You can't miss it when you're driving down the highway. It's like a beacon here.
Oh, definitely. It's a landmark to Taft. I mean, you have to have it here.
Okay, we've been invited inside the engine house by Lane Frank, who's the president of the museum. And what's exciting about this derrick restoration is that you're going to have the thing actually running again.
That's correct. We are going to fire this old engine up. It's an old hit and miss gas engine. We're going to be running this thing. It will power the derrick. It'll power the walking beam, and hopefully we'll have it running the casing line and everything else.
So you're going to bring this thing back to life. This thing is going to be hissing and spitting and turning and...
Yes, and making lots and lots of noise.
Just like it did in the old days.
Absolutely.
And isn't that interesting, because young people up here have never seen or heard this, have they?
Not in 50 years probably did they hear an engine like this running.
And do you think it's going to be hard to get this old thing? Well, they made them well, didn't they?
Absolutely.
This
cast iron.
This is serious stuff here.
Absolutely.
How far back does something like this go?
This one here probably runs back about 1915.
Wow. And are there people still around who know how to get these things going?
Oh, yes. Yes, there's
Some
lots
of the old timers, they got to love working on
They'll actually make a hobby out of this.
Yeah. So that's it, a wonderful day in oil country here in Kern County. We've had an absolutely wonderful day. Pete, thank you for the tour.
Thank you. Thank you for coming, Huell.
We've had a great time. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thanks for the tour. Congratulations. Doesn't get any better than this. Ending up the day here in front of this old wooden, newly restored old wooden derrick. We've had a long day and a good day. We started in Buttonwillow, but we started in McKittrick, and then we went to Fellows. We've been to Taft and points in between. The oil fields, we've been all over the place looking at the rich oil history, not only of California, but specifically of Kern County. And this part of Kern County, the western part of Kern County, that is so rich in not only oil, but oil history. We've had a great time on this road trip. Doesn't get any better than this. And we end up by looking at the people of Taft, the good citizens of Taft, who are part of this oil history as well. Thanks for your hospitality. We've had a great day here in Kern County. Goodbye.
Road Trip with Huell has been made possible by the Automobile Club of Southern California.
Wherever you're headed on your next road trip, the Auto Club knows the territory. For travel tips or comprehensive destination information, as well as booking your next family vacation, our website is a great first stop on any journey, no matter how far away your destination may be. Through all life's travels, we're always with you.